Okay, so welcome back to the Postie bike charity build for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We've been focusing on the frame, painting, polishing, etc, etc. We did have a go at running the engine from the donor bike. It ran, it was noisy. We established basically that the bottom end was okay. It was changing gears. It didn't seem too noisy down here. Something was going on. Most likely, it's probably going to be the cam chain. It's the easiest thing to check. It's probably the easiest thing to replace. I will go further. I will take the head off. I'll probably put a new cylinder in it and piston, and check the head and the valves and the cam. Just check this out. Make sure it's all right because it's for a charity. It's going to be raffled off. I want it to be all smick, so I'll take this off and we'll have a look and just see what we're finding there. You can tell a few things by just taking this stator off. So this is the side with the gear stick lever, and that's the sprocket. You know, the front sprocket normally sits here, just an orientation. That's the head here. So alright, I'll take this off. I'll be using this impact driver, the Phillips head bit, and a trusty hammer. So what I do is I just normally go around and smack it. I'll do a couple. Make sure you've got the tool facing the right way. So you should clarify that. So if you turn it the way you want to go. So if you want to tighten up, you pull it that way. If you want to loosen, you loosen it off. That way, when you hit it, it will do what you want it to do. So that hit just loosens those off without stripping them, because they're just Phillips heads. You don't want to start getting strip screws and bits and pieces. Not only does it look pretty crap, but we get to a point where you can't undo anything. So a little hard one there. I'll shut this off while I get this off. Basically, I'm just going to go through, tap them all off. Then I just use a normal Phillips head screwdriver, go around, undo them. Just be careful when I lift this off that I'm not going to damage that, but I'll do that when I come back. Alrighty, so I've taken this stator off. I've undone the screws. I undid the screws. I gave it a slight tap just to break the seal on the gasket. It's come off. The gasket's stayed on the engine intact. Hasn't broken. Not a big deal. Like, I've got a few of these. I've got a few gasket kits I've got lying around. So just at first glance, there's the first couple of things I've seen as soon as I opened it up. So bottom of the stator, some black sludgy oil on the bottom. Smelly black sludgy oil on the bottom. So it needs a good clean out. Basically, it needs some fresh oil run through it. Hot oil changes, just try and get it out. But what's probably going to happen is I'm going to take it apart and clean it all apart. Again, I'm just doing this so that if you had an engine and you're like, I just want to get it going, I'm not fussed about rebuilding it. You'd wipe everything out you could. If it was just the oil, put it back on, run it, change the oil hot a few times, and just try and get everything out. Maybe take the clutch plate off on the other side, or definitely take the clutch cover on the other side, pull the strainer out, and do that. So while you have the engine like this, flip it over, do that, clean out that strainer, put that back on, grab some gaskets for either side in case you do damage it. I won't go on too much more about that. So I've turned it over. When I turn the motor over, do you hear that? I don't know if you can hear it. That is the cam chain bouncing around. It's worn out, basically. It's stretched. It's at full adjustment, and it's stretched. I'll take the phone off the mount here, and I'll try and get you in so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've got this here so you can see. So this is our cam chain adjustment here. This little piston rod slides up and down. This is the adjustment. That sort of locks it off where it needs to be. This bolt here comes undone. There's a flat head on the inside, which when you put a new cam chain, it starts all the way out, and as it wears, you continue sort of creep it in a little bit more, until this comes up to here. You can see this is pretty much at the top. That actually won't go any further up. Now there's a pulley, it's hard to see, there's a pulley in here, no, can't see my finger, there's a pulley there, that's the tensioner, and then the other side, this is the drive, it's a bit shiny with the oil, that's the drive that goes through, drives your oil pump. So the cam chain runs through in between them, you can see it there. So what happens as I turn it, it gets to the compression stroke. Of course, look. See how that changes sort of flap. It's loose, it's flapping around. So that's probably most likely what the cause of our noise was. As I said, I'll take the head off. I'll do that probably now or in another video, and we'll have a look at that as well. Then we can turn the engine over, and then we can have a look inside the cylinder and see if we've got any wear or the piston, and inspect the valves and stuff like that, and take the cam out, because you have to take the cam out to get the cylinder off. So we'll strip it down a bit further just so that everyone can see if they have to go further. But if you pulled your engine apart and that was the case, you would have to take this flywheel off, which will let you get to this. Then you just take this cover off, and there's a gear in here on the end of the cam, or a sprocket on the end of the cam. You can buy a kit online, it's about $220 I think, and you get this, you get the drive, you get the tensioner, and you get a new chain. And you can, there's some videos online about doing, I'll do one as I do it, and that's, for me, that's probably the first thing you look at. And if you just wanted to get this engine running, as I say, and it wasn't being done for a charity build and you didn't have to make it 100%, you'd probably do that first and just check that. In saying that, it's also a good idea to do this while you've got the engine out. So it's really up to the individual on how far they want to go, but you can do that. I'll show you how to remove these in a few other videos. I'll probably have a fair few engine ones coming up just as we go through and get this motor up to spec. Alright, I'll probably leave this one here for now, keep them a bit shorter. Next one we'll take this off, take the head off, and take the cylinder off, bits and pieces like that, and we'll keep looking further. Thanks for watching, hope you're enjoying them, see you later.